Yesterday, Elanga was sold, bringing Manchester United anywhere between £5 to £8 million. And today, we've got big updates that Alvaro is set to join Real Madrid, pending some final details that will bring in some more money for Manchester United. And why can this sale twist potentially be key to our plans going forward and unlocking future signings? We will talk about that. But have Manchester United finally sold one of their own players? There's reports coming out from Italy that Sancho to Juventus is pretty much completed. Negotiations are completed, and he will be a Juventus player pending some final details. Sancho is United's first exit in the bag because Italian sources are saying it's happening. But how many times have we been told by Italian sources, Sancho deal's nearly done, Sancho deal's nearly done, and another week's gone by, and we keep getting told Sancho deal's almost complete, and Sancho deal's nearly done, and another week goes by. Now, these sources are saying the deal and the negotiations are pretty much complete, and they're suggesting it's advanced. But until we get David Ornstein or Romano confirm anything with Sancho, I feel like we're just getting told the same stuff on Sancho. But this was a pretty significant story, basically saying the Sancho deal was basically complete, that it was happening. So we're going to dive into that and the latest on Sancho. Where has it come from? The latest on Mbeumo, who is not returning to Brentford training. He gets another week off, and I think Brentford want to complete this deal in the next week because they've told Mbeumo he can return next Monday instead of this Monday, which says to me Brentford want it done by next Monday. What's the latest on that? There is some more interest in Hojlund. Roma entering the race for Hojlund. Malacia could go for £3 million. Some interest being shown in him. And then Bentito Mansato, the young right wing back, could be going on tour. And some stories about Marcus Rashford going about. So we've got a lot to talk about in today's 10-minute roundup. Something tells me it could be a 12-minute roundup. So let's get right into it. So, Real Madrid and Benfica are closing in on an agreement for Alvaro, obviously former Man United player. We sold him for just £5 million, which is crazy because Malacia and Luke Shaw basically didn't play for a year after we sold him. We had no left back, and I think we had Lindelof at left back, Delo at left back for a bit. I think we even played Amrabat at left back for a little bit. Collier played there once. But negotiations are advanced. He only wants Madrid, and depending on how much the fee is, we could be getting between 5 and 10 million. I think we'll probably get something on the lower side to predict. But that's a nice amount of money for United in. From Alvaro and Elanga, we're probably going to be getting around 12 million in. Maxi or delay could bring in another £1.5 million. We got 5 million just for Sancho being sent back. It's quite funny that all our money coming in is actually from the players that we sold already. Everyone wants to buy the players that we sold that aren't at United, but nobody wants to buy our players. And it's annoying how cheap we sold Elanga and Alvaro for, looking back at it. But at least we've got the sell-on clauses. So we've quietly earned about £12-13 million, which is big. Obviously, the sell-on clauses. No new sales yet. Sancho could go, 25 million, fingers crossed. But all of these funds are pure profit. They're going to come in quickly. That's 13 million quid. It might not seem like a significant amount, but when you're as broke as Manchester United and you need a couple extra million quid to get Mbeumo over the line, there's business we need to do outside of Mbeumo. This sale twist could be key because we've had 2 bids rejected for Mbeumo. They now need to hit 65 million. I think our last bid hit 62.5 million. So we now need to up it a couple million. Boom. Perfect. These funds can help bridge the gap to get Mbeumo done. Hopefully we just get this done this week. I don't care if we go and we up our bid and we pay a bit too much. I'm just fed up. But also it's pure profit. 13 million in pure profit could allow Manchester United to spend £52 million because that's 13 times 4. If a deal was split across 4 years, we could sign a player and pay 13 million a year across 4 years. So it would allow us to fund another signing on top of Mbeumo, which is something we need to do because the feeling is once we sign Mbeumo, if we don't sell anyone, we can't sell anyone else. We can't sign anyone else. Also, I've got a fat cut on my tongue, which is why I'm talking weirdly. It really hurts to talk. But if we don't sell anyone, we can't really do much after Mbeumo, but this potential money coming in pure profit at least allows for another signing on top of Mbeumo. I don't know if it could afford a Watkins, but it could afford a decent midfielder. We've been linked to Javi Guerra. Could be 30 million. For example, Denzel Dumfries, good wing back. But is Man United's first exit in the bag? Now, I'm fed up with Italian sources telling us that Sancho's on the verge of accepting terms with Juventus and Sancho's on the verge of joining Juventus, because then a few days later, Romano will come out and he'll say, no, they're still talking. No, Sancho still hasn't agreed to lower his wage. So I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt because until Romano or Ornstein say it, I feel like the Italian media has just been lying to us. We've been getting told for 3 weeks that Sancho's really close and he's going to lower his wage and he's going to agree Juventus move. And now they're being told that he has agreed a Juventus move, but until I've seen it from Romano Ornstein, I'm going to just personally not believe it. But could our first exit be in the bag? Sancho Juventus has never been so close. Negotiation completed. The player will be a Juventus player, barring complications which are not foreseeable at the moment. 25 million valuation, everything's settled with United and Sancho's agent. So apparently everything is settled. Negotiations completed. It's happening. Sancho will be a Juventus player, according to this guy. Now, this guy has been saying for weeks that the deal is close, and for weeks that Sancho will soon lower his wage demands and the deal will be sorted. He's now suggesting that Sancho has lowered his wage demand, which he's been suggesting for the past 2 weeks, and he will be a Juventus player. He's suggesting it's happening. Now, for me, we've had Italian media tell us for ages Sancho's close, Sancho deal accepted, Sancho over the line, first exit close, and we haven't sold Sancho. And then mainstream media, Romano, Ornstein have suggested it's not as close as what Italian media is saying. So while I'm hoping the first exit is in the bag, while I'm hoping Sancho exit is happening, and so I see Ornstein or Romano, or even someone like a Laurie Whitwell, or someone just with a bit of credibility from Manchester United side of things, not the Juventus side of things. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts down below. But obviously the one player we want to know about, well, do we actually? I think we're fed up of hearing about him, but we want to know where he is Mbeumo. Is Mbeumo nearly at the finish line? United are confident they can strike a deal with Brentford for Mbeumo, despite them having 2 bids already not back. United are expected to have a go to 65 million to reach an agreement with Brentford, with negotiations ongoing between the two clubs over a fee and structure of payments. So, this here is being reported. United are confident they can do a deal with Mbeumo. Bish, bash, bosh. United are expected to have a go to 65 million to reach an agreement. Expected to have to go to 65 million to reach an agreement. That's only about 2 million more than our last bid. Just do it. At this rate, just do it. Brentford want the deal done by Monday. We want the deal done by Monday. And Mbeumo wants the deal done. 65 million. When you look at the prices of other players in the market, yes, he would have gone for cheaper to Man City. But just do it. Also, Mbeumo's not returned to Brentford training, which I guess puts us in a stronger negotiating position. But we keep having reports saying we're confident we can get a deal done for Mbeumo. We've had 2 bids that have been knocked back. We know that. Every source has confirmed that. Obviously, this is from the Disco Mirror, but every other source has said the same thing. There's 2 bids. We want him. We're confident we'll get him. We're now being told we need 65 million to get him, which is less than 70 million. Although I just feel if we make a third bid of 65 million, they'll probably say no one wants 70 million, because I feel like Brentford just, every time we bid what they want, they then want more. But negotiations are ongoing, and there's a feeling this deal will be done. Will it be done? I think it will be done. I don't know when it will be done, but I think it will be done. We just need to make that third bid. And I think, maybe the third bid is not just about hitting the right price, but how many years is it going to be paid over? Now, we know that Rasmus Hojlund is happy to stay at United. We know that he wants to stay at United. However, Laurie Whitwell said it's more likely that he will leave than stay. Laurie Whitwell said it's more likely he will leave Man United than stay, despite Hojlund wanting to stay at Manchester United. And we've got some more interest, because Inter to Hojlund doesn't seem to be happening. I just said Inter to Hojlund, didn't I? Hojlund to Inter doesn't seem to be happening, despite concrete interest from Inter, because Inter only want to do a loan deal. But you forget how highly rated Hojlund was out in Italy when we signed him. And there's still a lot of clubs that believe in him and believe in his potential. And those Italian clubs will see him at McTominay at Man United and what he's done in Serie A. And that will further increase their interest in Hojlund. Now, reports are coming out from Di Marzio via Italy that Roma are now in the race for Hojlund, and they're now seriously pushing for Hojlund. Inter Milan seem to have stepped back. They only want to do loan deals. Roma seem more interested in Hojlund. AC Milan are there but uncertain. Roma looking to move ahead in the race, and Hojlund, once tipped as a future star before his Manchester United move, is back on the radar. Now, Romano said that Hojlund is happy to stay at Man United. Laurie Whitwell said Hojlund's more likely to leave than stay, but we know that Hojlund is happy. He's very happy at Manchester United. Will he go? Will he stay? I don't know. But I do think if there was an offer that came in for Hojlund, and I think Romano suggested this, and Man United accepted that offer, then Hojlund would consider it. It's not he's going to stay at Man United and reject clubs that are in for him. If he gets the sense that Man United want to sell him, he will look at his options. And I think Manchester United deep down want to sell him, but they're not actively forcing him out. They're actively forcing Rashford out. They're actively forcing Malacia, Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho out, but they're not actively forcing Hojlund out. In terms of Rashford, it said that Rashford did report back for training yesterday and today, despite giving time to find a new club. He trained individually, not being involved in team training. I have two thoughts on Rashford. A part of me feels for him because he's coming back to training, he's working hard, he's really trying to prove a point. But then the other part of me says, look, you don't want to be here under Amorim. You're not in Amorim's plan. It's not right to bring him back to training. Like, he's working really hard. He's making it clear he's working hard. He's gone back to training. He's getting on with it. He's acting very professional, despite it being very obvious he wants to move to Barcelona. So part of me is like, do we just bring Rashford back to team training? Because also it puts us in a stronger negotiating position to sell Rashford if he's back in team training. Because everyone knows we're so desperate to offload him that they're just going to lowball us. Whereas if we acted like things were calm between Rashford and Amorim, it'd probably be easier to get a better bid for him and easier to sell him. But at the same time, I guess that isn't fair for Amorim. He's had his number 10 shirt stripped. You know, he's been told he's not part of group training. He obviously did the interview and said he wants a new challenge. He shouldn't have done the interview and said he wants a new challenge. He shouldn't have done that. Like, let's be honest. We know he wants Barcelona. So I get why he's not welcome back. But at the same time, if he's working hard and wants to be back and isn't going to cause an issue, do we bring him back? Because I'm just thinking our negotiating position to be able to sell him. He's had the shirt stripped of him. He's had this, he's had that. He's been at the club 20 years. He needs to go. He needs to be moved on. But I don't think he's a problem causer. We've had players that are problem causers, and despite there being a negative narrative around Rashford, I think he works hard, I think he tries. I don't think he's a problem causer. And I'm at the point right now, if he wants to come back to training, I mean, we surely at one point got to think maybe we need to bring him back to training. Because if it looks like we're not going to sell him, do you know what I mean? He wants Barcelona. I think Rashford will go, and I get there's no point bringing someone back that we're going to sell or not in the plans. It's not fair on Amorim. But I'm just kind of like, if it's so obvious we're not going to bring him back, we're just going to end up loaning him, aren't we? I feel like if teams thought that he all of a sudden had made up of Amorim and was in the plans, and let's say that's not the case, but we let rivals think that's the case, maybe teams would put it a bit for him. I don't know, what's your thoughts on Rashford? Because I have mixed thoughts. There's a part of me that thinks Moore's gone down behind the scenes. This is quite a dramatic reaction for him just saying he wants a new challenge. Part of me thinks this is to do with his wages and Ineos forcing him out. Another part of me thinks clearly something's gone on with him and Amorim that we don't know about. Or is Amorim just being brutal? Or is Ineos just being brutal? Talking of brutal, apparently Tyrell Malacia will be allowed to leave for just £3 million. United are very keen to offload him. This came from the Daily Record. Celtic have been told by Man United that they would accept a £3 million bid for Malacia. So it looks like Malacia's sort of getting the Donny van de Beek treatment of just do what we can to get him out. And then Solly did say that Bentito Mantato, a young right wing-back, has trained with the first team today and could be involved in pre-season, which is good news to see. Galatasaray have also made a bid for Osimhen. So that's all the news coming in about 12 minutes. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. It's 13 minutes. Sorry that I could barely talk. See you next time. Bye.